Hello to all of my OnlyFans supporters, and a cool greeting to all of my normie viewers. A big welcome to another episode of OptiCraft, our little survival SMP series. You're currently watching me clean up quite a bit of land and are probably wondering why. It's because today I got a real treat. We are going to be starting a brand new project on the server called the Crafting District. And on top of that, I'm going to be building up a crazy auto-crafting firework maker that I designed, and we'll finish it all off with a nice build to house it. Now, what is the Crafting District? Sounds pretty boring. Well, I made the executive decision to install Nembon's auto-crafting extension to the carpet mod on our server. I'll quickly explain the basics of auto-crafting later and the redstone involved, but for now, here is my vision. So listen carefully. I want a district of beautiful builds that all house an auto-crafting machine for all of the tricky items in the game. They're going to be called crafting shops. And for example, we're going to have the shulker crafter, we're going to have the redstone crafter, etc. So this is going to be a very complex redstone project, which is the shit I love, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But it's also going to be a project that really focuses on building and making the shops look really good. Unlike some shops that we already have here, to name a few, I promise to keep the redstone pretty much short and sweet in these videos, but if you do have a redstone fetish, I'll be releasing a redstone 101 video later that talks in much more detail about auto crafting and all of the interesting designs I've been coming up with. Now, let me orient my camera back. Now we are going to hop into a creative test world, so I can very briefly explain what the fuck I'm on about. Alright, I wanted to quickly touch on auto crafting and how it works with the carpet implementation of it. This whole thing is very vanilla friendly. The whole goal is to be able to use all of the redstone mechanics that already exist in the game to auto craft. So the basics are pretty simple. If we grab some stone here, the crafting table always prioritizes the first craftable item it can find. So if we chuck some stone up here, the output is going to be stone buttons, right? That's pretty simple. If we chuck an item in that can't be crafted, it just flows right through the crafting table. Now, what is also the case is if we chuck items that can be crafted in and we're trying to make a more complex recipe, we can lock the hopper below until the recipe is done being created in the crafting table. The crafting table fills up from left to right and top to bottom. So let me quickly lock this hopper down here. If we wanted to create a hopper, ironically, automatically, what we do is we put an iron in first, and then we put a filler item, and then another iron, chest, iron, filler item, iron, and then we take out both filler items, and then we take out the hopper. So that's how you do more complex things. Again, video on this coming later. This is going to be quite complicated to implement. Right here, I created a very simple example of how to do this. So we have a ton of slime balls up in this chest. They flow into the crafting table, and when the signal strength is full, because the container is full, it quickly unlocks the hopper beneath and a slime ball comes out. Super, super, super simple. So without spoiling what's over the big wall over here, the main project of this video is firework rockets, specifically firework 2 rockets, because if you're using firework 3 rockets, you really have no idea what you're doing, right? So this is the basic setup I have here. So essentially, we're using, everything else is pretty standard here. We're chucking paper in with the droppers, and we're chucking gunpowder in with the droppers. That's super easy. We got a little clock. But the more interesting part of this, and bear with me here, is we have a hopper minecart below, because this hopper minecart is actually ejecting items into both hoppers. So we can pull items out of this crafting table at 2 times hopper speed, which greatly accelerates this whole process. And the way we do that is we have an item filter. We have 2 item filters below. So only the firework 2 rockets can pass through, and then we block off everything except the desired number of rockets here. And then all of this is locked until I basically tell it not to be locked. So you know what, that was a lot of rambling. Let me quickly show you what it is, or how this works. So you can see firework 2 rockets are being produced, and they're coming out real fast. But this is the basic design. This is auto crafting. I'll have a whole video dedicated to this later, Redstone 101 video, but for now, this is all you need to know. So without further ado, let's build up a little bit of a larger firework rocket maker than I shown here on the server. Hope you enjoyed the time lapse. So this thing's built up. This is the thing I've been teasing for the video. It's the super fast and kind of over the top firework autocrafter. So let's give it a little bit of a look. Granted, the button to turn it on is not really in an ideal location, but let me just show you this because I think it's kind of absurd. So that's how fast it is. Yeah, so I'd say we're gonna have enough rockets for the rest of the duration of the server, to say the least. And because it's so fast, it actually overflows back into the chest itself. So I already showed you how this works. We just have actually, let's go free cam. We just have the same modules we were talking about before, except I've stacked them next to each other. And then we have the delivery mechanism up here. We just have a little 3-tick clock dispensing items out. That's about it. It's the same design. I just love how fast it is. Actually, let me turn it off because I did not load it with that much. Yeah, I really need to put this in a better place. Anyway, it fully resets, so that's cool. If we look, these should all have, yep, 14 items in them. Yeah, them's the breaks. So now what we're going to do, and this is the part I'm actually excited for, is we're going to build up a structure that I've been planning for a long time. I think it looks really cool, and you're going to sort of see the theme I have going for this area. So let's get into it. Well, that took an absolute fuckload of time, but it's done now, and I have to say, I'm really proud of this. I spent a lot of time designing it, a lot of time tweaking it, and then a gross amount of time building it up because it's kind of difficult to build. Let's do a little fly around. I know you've probably already seen the shader time lapse, but sort of the theme I'm going through here is 1800s industrial era, but also a little bit overgrown. And I think 1800s just in general is going to be the theme for this whole area. So we have a nice amount of detail, and nobody can get away with just doing modern concrete and glass building style. So if we hop on inside through the beautiful front door, you can see that our machine's still here. The interior certainly needs some work. I'm not going to deny that. Maybe we'll do that next episode. Probably not, because I'm a little burnt out from working with the structure. But I'm happy with it. I really like the transition from darker colors going up. I tried to use quite a bit of block variation. One of the harder things to do was the block variation with the copper textures. And then I used the new bean blocks a little bit. But yeah, this is it. I'm really psyched about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the building process and looking at the build as well. Thank you guys for watching another episode of OptiCraft. This one took a little bit longer than normal. That's why the release was late, because believe it or not, it takes some time to design and build up all of these things. But if you appreciate the effort, I would appreciate maybe a subscription or a like if you're feeling it. But thank you very much for watching the episode. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one.